I'm Odunsi Manuel, the founder of Edfica, and my desire and vision is to make sure that I bring reality of life into business where we can learn lessons, grow, and be able to be better people and better entrepreneurs in Africa. Today we'll be discussing lessons from the streets. Now, I got this inspiration while driving across, Lagos, and then at every point in time, you keep seeing people trying to buy and sell. And I read online at one time of one street hawker that is making up to ₦1 million per month, selling, these basic things, sachet water, bottled water, biscuits, and several things that you've seen online. And today we'll be doing the first part of the street, that is lessons from the street, and we'll be discussing those last mindset. It takes a lot of things to be able to survive on that street because there are vultures, there are bad people, there are good people. It takes a kind of mindset to survive, and these guys have been surviving. Now, I'm not encouraging everybody to become an hawker. I'm not encouraging you to go to the street and start selling wares. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying we can learn from things that we see every day and we ignore. Welcome to today. Now, this is a overall picture of the Lagos market, the Lagos street. I'm sure you experience this if you're in Lagos regularly. Even if you're not in Lagos, in every area, any area you are, there are specific commercial hubs in virtually every state. If you go to Abeokuta, if you go to Shapon area, if you go to Ibadan, Mokola, Bodija, if you go to specific places, Asaba, several places that are just business hubs, and you surely see people trying to sell their wares either in a shop, in a store, in a kiosk, on the streets, on their head, several formats, all trying to make ends meet. Now, we underlook some of them and say, oh, these guys are not making sense, they are not making money, and you feel you're in your car, or you feel you're on that bike, or you feel you're better because you have a blue collar job or a white collar job. It doesn't actually work that way. Deep analysis, which I'm going to share with you today, will open your eyes to the realities of what these guys are doing and making them penetrate into people, customers, and places that you as an individual might never ever have access to. So this is the funny part. The Journal of Marketing and Consumer Research in 2015 shows that 41% of street hawkers earn a monthly income of over 200K. Please, if you're collecting a salary, how much are you earning? You have your personal business and you're doing social branding online, you have Instagram, Facebook, and all these other places. Are you earning more than 200K every month? That the lowest learning 20K. It is small, but it is also something that some people are not earning, even getting a salary. This is the reality, and we need to understand how they're doing it. This is the typical business model I've analyzed. There are three things they do. I've worked before, yes. I've tried that when I was doing it. I just need to sell something, I need to make some money, and I went to the bus stop to try and sell one or two things, some artworks and all. And it made sense. Some people bought out of pity, it required a lot of emotional intelligence and all. But there are three things I've observed that these guys do. Number one, they plan properly. Two, they strategically implement. Three, they review objectives. Now, and these three things are what we're going to analyze and help us fine-tune our mindset on how to get things done properly. Now, the planning, which is not what I'm going to dwell on, but I'm going to just summarize. Number one, they ask themselves, what do I sell? What do I do to sell? And what do I sell? Two questions. They identify the kind of product. So there's a need for product analysis. If you're trying to start a business or you're running a business and you just have an idea, you need to ask yourself, what actually I am selling? You see some people, they'll tell you they are selling land, but it's not land. They're actually selling peace of mind. They're selling, inheritance. They're selling legacy. There's something attached. Not the feature, but the benefit is what you're actually selling. So when you see them on the street and they're saying, do you want water? They're not actually selling the water. They're selling the satisfaction you're going to get from drinking water under the hot sun. There's a need to analyze that. So what do I sell? They ask themselves that, and that's why you see everybody with different things that they bring to the market. You even see mirror, and you start wondering who is going to buy mirror on the road. These guys have done a proper analysis of By the time I show you mirror, how much will it cost me to show you? How long will it take? When some other counterpart are selling plantain chips and they're selling something at 15 naira, he or she is selling the mirror at 10,000 naira or 15,000 naira. Now the plantain chips might take 3 days to sell and make 15,000 naira. But the mirror guy in 1 day can sell the mirror and make the whole profit. These are business models that requires planning. If your product is a luxury product, if your service is a unique service, if your service is for consumers, large consumers, everybody, you're actually trying to solve for the masses, you're trying to solve for the elite, are you solving for the working class, are you solving for families? There's a need for proper consumer analysis. Have you know your demographics very well? An average street hawker or an average street person selling on the road, selling by the side, they do the analysis. They may not do it according to the book that you know, but they do the analysis in terms of where do I sell and what do I sell that people around me need. Now, most of the people that feel they've gone to school, you have MBA, you have this, all you do is do calculations and all that in the sheet. But the streets will tell you differently. And that is what I'm trying to say. What do you sell? What do you actually sell? Not the feature, but the benefit. The next one they ask themselves is, where is the best place to sell and get maximum margin? Two things. Where am I supposed to sell? Because what you're going to sell on the street of Ajah is going to be different from what you're going to sell in Ibadan. What you're going to sell successfully in Ibadan is different from what you're going to sell in Ogbomoso. What you're going to sell in Ogbomoso is different from what you're going to sell in Texas. What you're going to sell in Texas is different from what you're going to sell in Kigali. Have you asked yourself, where are my customers? And where is the best place? It's not just where do I need to sell. Where exactly is the best place for me to sell for the maximum margin? Now, it's not just generic margin, I'm just trying to sell. No, maximum margin, you need to know those two things and ask yourself. Because even if you have a business that is existing for 2 years plus, and you feel you're stunted, you feel you're not growing at the rate you're supposed to grow, these guys already asked the question. And that's why on the road, when you're moving, you keep buying from them. They've asked, where is the best place? They locate themselves in the best place. It's a mindset of exception, of being the best, being at the best place and getting a maximum margin. So have you asked yourself, what can I do to get a maximum margin? Where should I sell more? The next one is, what is the best time to be on the street? Where should I launch this product? You've been nursing this idea for long. Computers are coming out. When is the best time? An average worker will not come in the evening when it is dark and by 7, 9 a.m. No, they know when to go out. They know when there's traffic. Ask them, they know, okay, the traffic is going towards the side. The traffic is going to be higher towards the side because people are going to work at this time. People are coming back from work at this time. People are going to be more here. There are less buses here. There are more private cars here. There are more airlines here. They've done that analysis, and that's why you see them and you buy from them because they are in the right place at the right time to sell to you. And they know the timing. When you be coming from work, when you be coming from office, and they stand there, they sell to you and you buy. So the question is, have you found the best time and the best location for your product? The last one in terms of planning is, what will influence people's choice of their product? That is why they sell cold water in the afternoon. Cold water, you see it block inside. They sell ice water in the afternoon. Why? Because they know that you stress, those in the bus are tired, the heat and all. While in the morning they sell less, they sell maybe fruits, apple, and eatables because they know, okay, you might be hungry, you want to fill your stomach before going to work and you just want to find something around it. You see a guy that is selling coffee on the road and he's pushing the truck. What coffee in the morning? Go in the evening or in the afternoon when the sun is high, you will never see him. To be a Nigerian youth, it takes hustle. Abi no be so. Except if you want to lie to yourself, you have to wake up and find a way to sell something, either online, physically, in any way. Now we keep assuming that because we are educated, because we have a little level of education, because we have one or two things, we feel we are up there, we are fine. There's a need to educate yourself and have a mindset of success that an average hustler on the street must know. And these are lessons I want you to learn today, because this is the part 1 of lessons from the street. I'm sure you're going to relate with me, but don't just learn the lessons, but implement and execute. Like I said, the 4 3 things a good hustler will do is you plan properly, you strategically implement. And to strategically implement, you need to understand the mindset of implementation. And number one, an average person selling on the street, an average person moving all around in traffic, trying to get you to buy something, understand what they call customer psychology and customer analysis. It's not a big deal, it's just English bragado. Customer analysis is trying to analyze, is this person a woman? Is this person able to buy what I want to sell? This kind of conversation, is it leading to a sale, or it is just a general time delay? Is this customer going to delay me? What kind of car is this person driving? What kind of shoe is he wearing? How is he speaking? Is he speaking friendly? Is he acting as if he's ready to buy? Is it just a computer that's trying to do a competitive analysis? There is a need to understand customer and to understand the concept of customer analysis and customer psychology on the street, or else you will never sell. Because there are customers that will come that will waste your time for the next one that are trying to ask questions, play around, and then nothing. There are leads you will get that will never ever convert, and there are some that you need to nurture for the next 3, 4, 5 years before they convert. Yes, it's stated that every lead takes about 6 to 1 year to convert into a buying customer. If you understand the sales funnel, you understand it, but we'll discuss the sales funnel later. But basically, to survive as an entrepreneur, to survive in life, you must understand customer analysis and customer psychology. You should be able to read body language. You should be able to read the approach of people. Oh, I want to buy a gala. I want to buy lip. I want to buy bottled water. How much is it? It's 100 naira. And then you start saying questions that are out of line. You should be able to know when to stop and when to continue. If not, you're going to spend your whole time jumping from one car to another, jumping from one business to another, jumping from one location to another, not knowing who your customer is. So the question is, who is your customer? Because if you're hustling and you're an hustler like me, and you understand what the street expects of you, you know that people will waste your time. People are going to make a loss. Make sure that you make a loss running that business. So customer analysis and customer psychology is important. And number 2 is you should know and have the mindset there's no guarantee. Your ideas are laudable, your ideas are good. Oh, see, anything can happen. Look at GoCoder. Look at Max NG. They brought in a very, very nice concept of this same Okada bike man, motorcycle and all, and suddenly one policy came and then it scattered it. So if you've ever heard of what you call the pestle analysis, it's important that you understand that political things can affect. NSAS can affect. When the lockdown affected, these are economic, social, legal things, environmental things that can affect your business. So there's no guarantee of success, but it still does not mean that you won't go ahead and try to make it and try to even start something, because you know that there's no guarantee of success and there's no guarantee of failure too. So you have to stand up and get it done. So what is that business idea you've been locking and you've been holding on to? A street person, a hustling person knows that you just have to get it done. The next one is self-motivation. Bro, sis, hey, nobody will motivate you to work. Hunger is the number 1 motivator of an average Nigerian youth. If you don't want hunger to be the motivation, because when hunger comes in, you will steal, you will do illegal things, you will do yahoo, you will do several things that are wrong, and it will put you in trouble. Then you need to self-motivate. Even when you fail, even when issues happen in your business and then you try to sell and you make a loss, or you try, look at a typical person trying to sell on the road. Do you know how much it takes to keep running from one car to another? Or do you know what it takes to have a kiosk under the sun and then they just have a small, shelter to just cover them from the sun, and that's all, and then under the heat? You see the sweat, you see the pain, you see what they go through. What they could sleep at home, but they are self-motivated. Now, if you have the little knowledge that you have, you've gone to school, you have the little knowledge about business, you have people who have been helping you, you have a little fund to start, you have the opportunity of working in a place, those are parts for motivation. And if you can't maximize that, then you are at a risk of losing everything. So you have to self-motivate. The next one is, you will lose, you will gain. So there'll be days you will lose. You need to know how to manage your emotions, because emotional intelligence as an hustler on the street is high. There are days that customer will buy and zoom off and they will not pay. I'm sure you've seen and you've read several ones. And I'm sure some of you that you have been listening to me, you must have, done such bad, evil, bad, devilish, which other evil, bad adjective can I use? That they buy from people selling on the street, and then the next thing is, oh, the traffic light is green. Instead of paying, no, they just zoom up. Or you see the next one that they keep hustling and running after the bus, and they drop. If they agreed at 500 naira, then you see the guy from the bus dropping 200 naira, and the bus goes because the driver is not waiting, and that goes. There are sometimes that is gain, and there are sometimes that is loss. And there are sometimes that they will gain, and then the person driving or the person in the car like, oh, don't worry, take the change, it's just 100 naira, because you found favor in that day. The days that you will lose, the days that you will gain, you are not like a typical entrepreneur in Nigeria or in Africa needs to understand that you need to have balanced emotional intelligence. It will come, and the days they come, you accept it, you move forward. The day the good come, you rejoice, you celebrate, and you move forward. Don't lose guard. That's the next one. Never lose guard, oh bros, because those that want to take from you are more than those that want to give you. So if you're on the street, look at a typical person on the street, those that want to collect, those that don't mind just picking from the top of their head, or picking from even children that will come to the shop and say, mommy, daddy, and all that, and they will pick and they will never pay. Those that want to hold you are plenty. So you have no right to lose guard. Bros, don't lose guard though, because those that want to steal from you are much. And you can't afford to lose guard. The vultures are there. Oh. So it's a mindset that you need to know, because it looks like I'm giving a truth serum. It is harsh, but that's the truth. Vultures are there. Suppliers, those that supply, they will not count it complete and they will give it to them. And then they will start saying at the end of the day something is missing. Or they will count it complete and then the customer is the one that is trying to steal from them. Or something, you never give me change, I gave you change, you never give me change, I gave you change. That's the typical on the street. But in your business, you have competitors, you have people who have more money than you, you have people who have less cash than you have those who have more fund reserve than you have those who have bigger contacts, you have those who just don't just like you. You have a lot of people who are vultures, and vultures are there to just eat the carcass and destroy everything. Be the eagle that flies above vulture if you're going to survive. So, because of that, there's no time for self-pity. Like I said, if you lose guard and it happens, shit happens, or God move forward, because there's no time for self-pity. Physical fitness is important, because you are your business. If you fall sick, you're on your own. Imagine a typical hawker falling sick. For that 1 month, 2 months, God, no money. So please, no insurance. We know. Insurance is important. If you need insurance, I know someone that can help you. But still, insurance is not there for us. In terms of health, please, if you are listening to me now, do you have insurance? Which one are you doing? The one that your company is doing that you can't even monitor? Or the one that you even know, you just received the email, and then that's all. It's good to do insurance. Please do your health insurance, do your property insurance, do car insurance, do all those insurance. But if you need help, I can help you. My wife does that. Now, if you need help, I can help you. Come back to being serious. Now, insurance is key. But we know that on the street, in the hustling world, there is no insurance. It is you and you alone. So, bros, you need to make sure that you're physically fit. Eat well. Buy fruits. Drink water when you need to drink. Fast, but don't fast stupidly, for God's sake. Because if you die, not even death, if you are sick now, please don't you want to gather 10 million naira to go to India. So it is wise that you take care of yourself and buy that fruit of 100 naira. If you have to have a budget of 500 naira per day on fruit, on healthy living, it is smart. And not, I need to make the money, and then you lose it all. Bros, be smart. The next one is traffic. Hold up is a blessing for them. So for a typical entrepreneur, you know that, even though everybody is saying there's traffic, it is bad, it is that, for you, the bad thing, the hindrances, the problems should be converted to blessings. So bros, look for opportunities that are, coated with danger. Look for opportunities where people start seeing problems. The persistence is key. Persistence is key. People will tell you no. People will tell you get out. You will spend days without making a sale, months without making a sale. Bros, But the time that one contract will come, you jam it and you make it. That's the essence of persistence and consistency. But persistence and consistency is not enough if there's no visibility. Because a lot of people keep saying, oh, I will continue to do this is who I am, this is what I do. But no people know you. The number of people that know you, if 1,000 people know that you do A, or 10,000 people know that you do A, or 1 million people, let me write, 1 million people knows that you do A, what do you think is going to make more money? Which do you think is going to survive more? Being consistent. This person. Because at least 1% of the number of people that are aware that you sell this will convert regularly. Compared to the person that's sitting down in his house and say, they know, some people know, I'm putting it on my WhatsApp status. Plus, do it every day. On your WhatsApp status, your Facebook, your Instagram. If you're not promoting yourself, who else will promote you? Blow your trumpet. So don't just be persistent. Blow your trumpet and get it done. The next one is sales pitch. Have you seen any person on the street trying to sell to you? No, honestly, their sales pitch is out of this world. Oh God, this one not good though. This one good. They know how to sell it. So sell the value, sell the benefit the person wants. No, craft it. All the list of benefits, sell it. Oh, this one is to do this one. This one will not do this one. This is the USB cord. It go last for 3 years. It will do this one. It will do that one. It is this brand. It is that brand. They know how to sell. So, what is your sales pitch? You should have it. Be ready to sell at any time. Rejection is not a big deal. And after you sold and they say, no, I'm not interested. After you've sold and then you've given a price and they're trying to give you a price that does not make sense. Okay? Rejection will be a big deal. The number of rejection you should get for every sale on the average, as I've heard and I've learned, is minimum of 99 to 1. Thomas Edison, Elon Musk, and all these guys, they've done several other things. They got a lot of no's from investors and investment. And they got a lot, it might not be up to 99. But your own no go reach 99 because that thing will be frustrating. May your own reach 10. Let's say amen. Your own will not be more than 9. Yes, because they will be just. But at least if one person out of 10 says yes, you make your sale. That means that you have to make more money by reaching out to more people and know that rejection is part of the deal. Negotiation skill is a survival instinct. Because if you can't negotiate your way out to sell a good or whatever you're doing, you're on your own. You need to be able to negotiate. Because it's going to be back and forth. You need to know your barest minimum. You need to know your barest minimum, and you need to know your highest value-driven and integrity-conscious maximum. Because I need to make that clear. You know, there is what they call in Yoruba adage, like too much of everything is bad. So trying to make 100 times profit in one sale will make you lose the customer, and trying not to make profit in one sale will also make you lose your profit. So there's a need for integrity, value-driven pricing in your product. So if you're going to do that, you need to sit down. What is the best price? What are my competitors doing? They do it. That's why you go on the street and see that everybody is selling bottled water at 100 naira or 200 naira at the same time. And you go in the next 3 hours and you see everybody selling it at 50 naira. What is the difference? Because they understand the way it works. The next one is customer-centric approach. Your customers are your king. They are the one that makes you available. So if your customer says no, you know how to do it. You need to be customer-centric because they are not giving you the money. Anywhere, when you see somebody trying to sell to you, you see the woman, you see the young guy trying to sell to you. They don't try to convert and do multiple customers at the same time. They give you 100%. Okay, no, this one go work. This one no go work. And this is that. No, I no figure this price. Make we do at this price. Make we do this one. They focus on you. They will, no, this one will work for your phone. No. Now this one will work for your phone. They know what to. If you want original like this, if you want fake like this, if you want the one with human like this, this one go. They will tell you the truth, and they are customer centric. The next one is positioning. They are located at the right time when you need them. Next one is risk management. Selling on the street is hard because, like I said, there are vultures. Apart from vultures, we read a lot of sexual harassment, a lot of abuse, a lot of physical theft, and a lot of victim of circumstances. One guy just loses brake and then boom, he just hits some people on the road. We've read. I'm not just talking about hawkers. I'm talking about those who also have kiosks by the street side. A lot of havoc, a lot of even health havoc because under the sunshine. They are always there. Now, there is a need for risk management. And if you're doing any business, you should be able to analyze the risks. What is the risk? Oh, I'm always on the laptop. That means that your eyes is at risk. If you don't like using specs or glasses, please, you do have a choice. Go and look for the I don't know what they call it, this lens that balances the radiation from the laptop or from the phone. If you're always on the phone, if you're always on the street, balance your health in terms of the sun ray on you. If you're anywhere, any walk havoc you're facing, if you're always talking, if you're always walking, matrices is there, several things are there. If you're always in a place where the fume is much, or you keep inhaling bad substances, or you have to, your kind of work there is, you could have a cut and all, or even if you're always in the office inside AC 247, all these things are a risk. You need to know how to manage your risk properly. Financial prowess is important because you know where to spend and where not to spend. You know what to buy and what not to buy. There's usually no holiday. And the last one, there's no gender inequality. Like everybody, man or woman, no gender inequality, that's the truth. Because you see them both on the street, a man, a guy, a boy, a girl, all of them, everybody's trying to hustle it down. There is no, this one is a man, this one is a woman. I'm a girl, I cannot walk. Now I'm a boy, I cannot hustle. My brother, go and hustle. Go and hustle. There is no typical work. There are ladies doing mechanic now, and there are men doing makeup now. So just pick one that you like and then hustle it out. Now, if that is said, I'm going to summarize all this because this is the part one. Your mindset is the basis of your success on the streets. And with the current status of Africa generally, with tribal clashes, war, ethnic clashes, we all say our government does not care, policies just come up and they can crash your business and all. You need to be street smart. And I hope you've learned lessons from the street today. That your mindset is the basis of your success on the street. We are all on the street. Online, street in New Bros. Offline, now street. And we need to be street smart. The other things you might need to know about being street smart, but I know you know more. This is just a tidbit and something to just remind you of what you already know. Sit down. Apart from the list I've given you, what else can I do to be able to survive and scale the pressure of being on the street? Thank you again. I'm Odumosi Emmanuel, and I would love to hear from you. So you can always send me a mail, emmanuelodumosi@gmail.com or emmanuel@theversity.com. I will always be willing to hear from you. You can check me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, but I would love you to tag me and then ask questions. So this is my personal handle, and then this is the official handle. So you can go to Edfrica both on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube to watch our videos and what we do. We try to make opportunities available to as many people as possible. This is one of the way I know I give out to make sure people have access to education in Africa. That's why it's called Edfrica, and that's mine. So follow me, and I would love to hear